Hello and welcome to Optimal Game State. Today, we're going to be looking at Combat Patrol. So I noticed this in my local newsagents yesterday, so I picked it up. I have done a few of these before. These are Hatchet Partworks Limited. There have been a range of these. So most recently, we've had Stormbringer. Prior to that, I think it was Dark Imperium. There've been some other 40k ones. Um, and the way the system works is each week a new magazine comes out. Ignore these prices here. Um, they will quickly accelerate into uh, more expensive prices. So this is a relatively late version one. So this is $9.99 sterling. Do I have the? Oh, apologies for wrestling. And here you can see 1580 is what the euro price ended up with. That said, GW figures are quite expensive. So, you are getting a considerable deal depending on what you get. This particular one, so the first one of each of these is always going to be a fantastic deal. In previous ones, what they have done is they've given us like unit models, and those are super popular. Because obviously you can buy like 12 of episode one for like a tiny price, and then you get a massive unit. In this case, they've got a little bit smarter over time, and they have started doing the unique characters. So we are starting into what essentially is going to be the new box for the new edition of 40k. So if you pick up that box, you'll probably have a lot of these models. Otherwise, um, if you haven't and you're interested in 40k, it's certainly a decent option. Kill team is another consideration. Now, up until about a week ago, I would have said that this isn't going to be any use for kill team. Not really. Some of the Space Marines might go into some specific kill teams, and you could do it that way. But those kill teams are actually going away, um, and we're only really going to have what people consider to be the bespoke. So anytime we talk about bespoke, it kind of refers to a bespoke suit, which just means tailored for that one particular person. So in the case of kill team, when we're talking about a bespoke kill team, we mean a box that says kill team on the box, and then the models have been intentionally designed for kill team. This has a new option though. We are going to be able to use stuff like these von Ryan sleepers, you can see at the bottom, in the co-op or solo play version of Kill Team. So you're going to put together your normal boxed Kill Team. You'll choose their gear and stuff. But the enemies you face off against are, from what we can see, from what we've seen recently, are generic. So it'll be fast, tough creature, melee. So it won't be a specific. It won't say Von Ryan's Leapers. What it will say is it'll give a kind of generic thing, and you're able to kind of fit the models you have into it. Which sounds like a fantastic thing. So these combat patrols have a little bit more interest. Now, if you're interested in 40k, the big change from this one compared to the others is that the series will form a combat patrol, which is pretty exciting. So if I was to keep collecting this, I would get essentially the contents of the starter box. But as we kind of progress through into further ones, they will open up other other combat patrols for 40k. All right, so I do have a lot more to say on that. But what I'm going to do now is we're going to open this up and have a look to see what is actually inside. Typically, there's a lot of advertising, and actually, they've been a little bit more restrained this time because usually they would have done these like double the size to like really get the space. Can I just pull this off? Okay, so yeah, that's just to make it a little bit prettier, make it a little bit bigger. Silver Templars are notable in this. This is a chapter that was specifically created and specifically designed for this Hachette Partworks stuff. So you'll never find anything about the Silver Templars outside of it. But they have paint guides. They have kind of specific stuff to them. It's just interesting. Occasionally they can do things like that. All right, but we're going to get into the main part here. Ooh, we've got interesting bits. Oh, we might talk about that and what you can use it with. I think I've seen some other parts later down the line. Have it here. This one. No, we did. I think they might be bringing in a kind of paper terrain or cardboard terrain elements, which, isn't for everyone, but might be interesting. All right, put that there. What's particularly notable about this, of course, is GW are able to make miniatures for a reasonable price when they want to. They just choose not to. So I think this is something that we've all known. I don't really need to labor the point. But yeah, this is a pretty good deal. I actually have this model already. I think did I get as far as assembling it but never got around to painting them? Very likely. So I was more interested in this Winged Hive Tyrant, just as something, an interesting model to put together. Okay, I mean, it's the same sprue. There's, Donny Prickly attacking there. Got the bases. We've got some more dice. Dice never go astray. Tons of these. And then we have a magazine. We have a poster, interesting. And we have what looks like a cardboard base. Okay, let's see if we can open this up first. So this is a mat. Might do happen. Sorry, I can't really zoom it out, but I'm gonna just quickly measure it with my tape. It is about 30. Yeah, I think it's a 30 by 22. So it's actually a nice kill team size board. Or what you would consider to be half of a proper 40k one. And then on the back we have this super weird thing. It is every square is like that. So that's a bit strange. Never seen that before. Not a fan of it's not really paper. It's kind of a light card, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's not the thick cardboard that you would like to see with a kill team one. But as for someone starting, you can get that flat enough on the table, you can play a game, and it's big enough. We'll get the magazine in a second. Okay, so this will tell us what's going on. Right, big poster. I can do this on a little picture. Kind of cool. I'm not sure if it's something you really want, but of more interest in this, we actually have what they have in here. Okay, so here you can see the two models that we're initially getting. A lot of fun stuff in here. There you've got a chaplain on bike. That's a Terminator squad. Gene Stealer cult here. So that looks, obviously that's the Space Marine one. This is the Tyrannid one. That looks like yep, that's a Chaos one. Is that more Chaos? Does look like two. And so on. So you've got some squats, you've got some Eldari at the back, that's some Cadians and some Orcs. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 different combat patrols. That's pretty cool. One of the problems with this, and one problem specifically for me, maybe I should. Let's look at the model first. Okay, so you can go to your local store, like I do, and you can pick them up whenever you feel like it. If you do that, you risk missing out. Now, for me, looking at the Stormbringer ones, there were two particular boxes or two issues I was very interested in. One was basically the box of Gobbo stabbers, and that just never made it over here in Dublin. And similar, it was the Orc Ardboys, which was a new Ardboys. Great price, so it would have been like €15 for me to get what essentially was a €40 box, 45, 50. The reason I couldn't get it was because it never came over here. So it was very, very popular, basically sold out in the UK. And then they just never bothered shipping it over. And unfortunately, that's going to be the case that sometimes your local news agents or wherever you're getting from won't have it. So there is an incentive to actually sign up. And you can sign up on the Hatchet or right now the Combat Patrol website. Uh, Limited to the UK at the moment, so it's UK and Republic of Ireland only. If that is frustration for you, there will be something in your area. So I believe Stormbringer, which is the Age of Sigmar version, is working its way through in the US at the moment. So it is out there. And honestly, the Stormbringer might be a little bit better because you can actually fit them into a Warcry warband, whereas these, I suspect they're not going to get kill team rules. You're going to have, yeah, but you will be able to use them as we talked about for the bad guys. This is the problem though. Every so often you're going to get a magazine that just has 1, 2, maybe 3 paints, and they are negative value. And you'd be better off just buying the paints. Now, the magazines themselves, as we look through in a second, can be useful and can be worthwhile, but especially for someone new. But for the large part, you really want to be looking at these magazines and picking out ones that are going to be good for you. So getting that Gene Stealer truck is something I'm definitely going to be interested in for some Necromunda. Or, I actually have this in a box, so I don't need to get it again. Like that Gene Stealer, or that Space Marine Chaplain on bike is going to be like a really good savings considering what he's going to cost. Some of these might be split across 2, so I'm not sure if there's necessarily anyone in particular, but you might have a warband, or you might have a box that'll be split across 2 boxes, and then you need to go in and buy both boxes, or you can't assemble it at all, which can be pretty frustrating. So there is an incentive to sign up, but by signing up, you're getting a bunch of stuff you don't want. So with this particular setup, I think we're going to see these first 2 kind of starter boxes initially, and then we're going to get into interesting things. But there's a good chance if you're looking to pick up the bikes. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for those because the bikes will be really good for Ashways. If you're interested in something like this, there's no guarantee you're going to see it in the store unless you're pre-ordering it, especially something that's going to be popular and people are going to be interested in. It's going to be a lot cheaper than buying it off GW directly, which is like the fact that they can do this. Yeah. Anyway, that's capitalism. I'm not ready to declare the revolution yet. Personally, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping an eye out for this. There are people who track it and keep an eye on it. Let me just find out. I have found myself that the best way to look for it is look for Fauxhammer, Fauxhamer, and they have they tend to keep track of it on their website, and in their Discord, people will be talking about it. So, um, yeah, and that lets you know what's coming up, and then you can make sure you go down to the store and hope you're going to be able to pick it up, and hope it's actually there. There are going to be people, of course, who will be going in. Unfortunately, this is the case. There will be a good deal out there, so someone will go in and they'll basically scoop all 10 magazines, all 20 magazines, whatever is in your local store, and then walk away and put it all up in eBay for like 5 times the amount of money. Because people. All right, let's have a look at some of the other things. This one I think is interesting here. Can you see? They've got little cards. So it looks like they've got little things to add to your battlefield, which I think is really cute. Cards, card stock as a element of the game isn't great, but if you got nothing else, it's fine. This is the premium subscription, so if you do sign up, you can add a little bit more money on. It says £2 per issue, which feels great, but these only turn up every quarter or so. So you're paying that extra £2 every week, and then I think it's like 2 or 3 months of paying that out before you actually get the return on it. Nonetheless, they can be good bargains, but part of this, of course, is it's only a bargain if you want it. So, for example, if you sign up for this and you get the premium kit, in addition to all the paints and all the other stuff that maybe you don't want, if you're only interested in the Space Marines, you're hoping for Battalion Dreadnought, you're going to end up with that Hive Tyrant. To actually sign up for that, you're going to end up getting all of the other Tyrannid bits as well along with it. So it is what it is. Oh yeah. So Battlefield Essential cards. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Wonder if they'd be any good for, as we were talking about, for kill teams, co-op or solo modes. All right. That's oh, and every so often they have special models as well. This one isn't particularly interesting, but they have had some fun ones. These are unique builds that you'll only ever get in this magazine. So one of the magazines will have a special limited edition. Can't get anywhere else. They tend to sell quite well on eBay if that's your thing. That is not my thing. I am interested in picking up and playing. What's great about this is they do go through the absolute basics, and they do tell you um, how to put things together, which is kind of fun. More adverts, more adverts. A little bit of backstory and history, especially if you're brand new to it. Tells you what Space Marines are like. Explain what Tyrannids are. It's a bit of a rough in, but it is something. Gives you some data sheets, and yeah, so it'll give you a setup where you actually are going to face off these two against each other and actually play them. It's kind of cool, just fun, and we'll step you through it. So yeah, it's a weird one. One thing you do find is at the end of it, you will have way too many models. You have way too many models. Let me show you. These were all good deals when I bought them. And these will get played eventually. So there's a War Boss, some Karad and Overlord. These are all things that I can put into. I'm not sure how Scratch got, but I like the model. In theory, most of these can be put into a Warcry Warband. They're all good deals. There's probably about 10 of them. That's probably about 150 quid spent on stuff that I'm not doing anything with. In GW terms, it's a really good deal, but keep that in mind. The thing about this is you're going to end up buying stuff that you really want. I don't really need. So keep that in mind. But if you can find the one or two particular models that you're looking for in one of these magazines, they are fantastic deals. But as I said, maybe be nice to others. Maybe only pick up the one, and yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend signing up for the full thing unless you really need to pad out your backlog. All right, that's all for me on this. And yeah, I will be keeping an eye out and picking up one or two as I go. All right, have a good day.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Each week I put up a new video talking about one of Games Workshop's specialist games. The goal is always to try and make the best possible two-player experience. If this is something you'd find interesting, please subscribe to the channel and comment to let me know what you'd like to see in future.